Hello, everyone. Thanks for joining us. Welcome to day 3, the final day of the 2020 Bayou Soul Youth Conference.
My name is Mia Jackson. I'm a senior at Zachary High School, and I won first place in the Angelou Oratorical Contest. They said it had an essay writing contest, and I've always kind of liked writing. I actually considered writing when I was really young, and I was like, I want to write, so maybe I'll do that in the future. But I've always been into writing, so when they said it was an essay contest, I was like, oh, I have to compete because I'm a competitor. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna write an essay. I wrote an essay. It was kind of rushed because I had missed a few days of class, and I wrote it, and I was like, okay, this is pretty good. It's pretty good. It's not my best, but it's pretty good. I sent it in, and then next thing you know, I came back to class, and they were like, oh, your essay got picked. And I was like, what? And they were like, your essay got picked. You're gonna speak in the contest. And I was like, oh my gosh, are y'all serious? So I was like, I'm not prepared. I was like, it was the day of the contest. So I went up there and I was like, okay, let me just start reading. So they had some English teachers come and talk to us, tell us how to stand, how to speak, how we want to, present ourselves on stage. And when I was speaking, I was really nervous. It was just like my first time on a stage. So honestly, if I'm really being honest, that's really how I got comfortable being on the stage, because after that I've been on the stage many times, like at Zachary High School, because Zachary is a really big school and you have to be out there. So honestly, the essay contest really helped me be more comfortable on the stage. So when I got up there, I was like, okay, let's do this. So I started talking, and when I get nervous, I start reading kind of fast. And at the time, my mom wasn't there because she didn't know. So the next year when I competed, I won 3rd place in that contest. I was really happy about it. With the money, I started a savings account for college. And then the next year I competed again. I was like, oh, we're doing it again. And then I loved the questions they wanted us to answer. They were like, how did Maya Angelou affect you as a young female? And I was just like, okay, this is amazing, because I love Dr. Maya Angelou. She's a real inspiration to women, especially Black women everywhere. So when I was writing my essay, I was like, I'm about to just express my words how if Maya Angelou was in the crowd, because she recently passed away, I was like, I would express my words as if I was speaking to her, how she affected my life and me as a person, because I didn't know what a feminist was. And when I heard it, I was like, oh, I'm a feminist. I'm a feminist. And when I was reading the format, I was like, it was just like my feminist mind was like, oh, why is it two different writing formats for men and women? Why does it have to be separated? But I was like, okay, men might be affected differently by Maya Angelou. So when I was writing, I was just like, yeah, this is me. This is what I want to tell y'all. This is how she affected me. Well, when I was writing it, I actually wrote it on my phone. I was just sitting in my room, and I was like, let me just start typing up ideas, and it just started coming to me. I just couldn't stop writing it. And I'm a very honest person. So when I say something, I mean it. I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to sugarcoat anything. So when I wrote it and I read it to my mom, she was like, isn't that a little harsh? And I was like, I want these people to know that this is what's going on and this is what needs to happen. Like in one of a quote from my essay, it was, why should women make 80 cents to a man's dollar when we have done the same work? And as a feminist, I believe that everything should be equal and we should be treated the same. So anybody that reads my writing, I feel like they would know in the future, I would say, they would know what we've been through and even if it's the same, what we need to go through in order for things to change. As a young multi-race woman who believes in her right to be heard, I'd like for our voices as women to be uplifted. For those who try to bring us down based on our race or our gender shall be silenced by our cries. Dr. Maya Angelou once said, each time a woman stands up for herself without knowing it possibly, without claiming it, stands up for all women. I'm here to stand up for young women. I'm here to speak for us all. The legacy of Dr. Maya Angelou has affected my thinking as a young woman. Her literary works and involvement in civil rights has inspired me to build a legacy of my own. She's inspired me to build upon myself and become the best that I could be. Not only do I want to improve myself because of Dr. Maya Angelou, but also my community. I like to start a nonprofit organization for young women from underprivileged backgrounds. In this program, the young women will receive a variety of help, including classes on hygiene, sexual education, and group discussion topics surrounding problems at home, school, and or personal life. In addition, the young women will be informed on professional work skills such as business attire, learning how to speak on interviews, and presenting themselves in interviews. I would like to provide young women with the confidence and drive to make something for themselves, like how Dr. Maya Angelou has done for me and many others. Personally, Dr. Maya Angelou made me look at the world differently. Her feminist words gave me the strength to be comfortable in my own body, and I look at every woman's body and compare it to my own. Her words gave me strength. I didn't know what a feminist was until I was about 12 years old in middle school and heard the words of Dr. Maya Angelou in Beyonce's song Flawless. As she spoke, it was as if a switch went off in my mind. I believe she was speaking directly to me. She spoke saying, "We teach girls to shrink themselves, to make themselves smaller. We say to girls, you can have ambition, but not too much. You should aim to be successful, but not too successful. Otherwise, you will threaten the man." She continued on defining what a feminist is. Feminist, the person who believes in the social, political, and economic equality of the sexes. We as women should not be measured by our bra sizes, but by the qualifications on our resumes. Just because I mark F instead of M on a job application doesn't mean I'm any less qualified. Just because I have a uterus doesn't mean I should make 80 cents to a man's dollar when we both have done the same work. In society, I would like to represent myself as a young, successful feminist who is not defined by a man but equal to him. I hope that in the future I'm looked at as a young woman who women strive to collaborate with, someone who is trusted, someone who is called friend, someone women can call sister.
Now up the very talented singer that many of you probably know from American Idol, Mr. Jordan Dorsey.
Again, here we go. Mother, mother, there's too many of you crying. Oh, brother, brother, brothers, there's far too many of you dying. Don't you know that we've got to find a way to bring some love in here today? Oh, Father, Father, yeah, we don't need to escalate. Why? 'Cause you see, war is not the answer. Love can only conquer hate. Don't you know that we've got to find a way to bring some love in here today? Oh, picket lines and picket signs. Oh, don't punish me with brutality. Come over and talk to me so you can see what's going on. What's going on, sweetie? Can you tell me what's going on? What's going on? What's going on? What's going on? Tell me what's going on. There will be mountains that I will have to climb, and there will be battles that I will have to fight. But victory or defeat, it's up to me to decide. But how can I expect to win if I never try? I just can't give up now. I've come come too far from where I started from. Nobody told me that the road would be easy, and I don't believe he's brought me this far to leave me. Yeah, never said there wouldn't be trials, never said you wouldn't fall, never said that everything would go the way that I wanted to go. But victory or defeat, it's up to me to decide. I just lift my head up to the sky and say, Lord, help me to be strong. I just can't give up now. I've come too far from where I started from. Nobody told me that the road would be easy, and I don't believe no, I don't believe that he brought me this far to leave me, to leave me.
My name is Sabumi Woods. I have been coming to the BSWLC conference for 3 years now, I believe. I am connected to the BSWLC conference because it is in honor of my great aunt, Dr. Maya Angelou. She is my great aunt, and I feel that the BSWLC conference is an important piece that Clarence Nero, who is the founder of the BSWLC conference, has invited me to. I feel like it is important for young people to express themselves through literature and poetry and writing. I feel like it's important because it gives you the opportunity to speak from the heart, and actually you are actually able to speak past the heart. You speak from a place where even you may even be surprised. Some of the thoughts that may come up and out are thoughts that you were not aware of. And so I feel that our words, especially written words, are words that can inspire and encourage others to live a life that they didn't know, or the life that someone else dreamed up for them, which is very close, near and dear to me, because I feel like my life is a life that somebody else wrote, and they wrote from a place of love and encouragement and a place of to inspire others. Because if I was to tell the story of my own life, it would be kind of close to my Aunt Maya's life. The life of Dr. Maya Angelou is not a story that can be told in 1 or 2 words. Not even I, as her great niece, can tell the story completely, because it's the life that she lived. I can only tell you my experience from just being her great niece and how she has inspired me. I'm not a writer. I don't aspire to be a writer. I'll leave that to those who like to write. I love to read, and I think that the Bayou Soul Conference, the literary piece of it, allows young people to tap into a place that they may not have done otherwise. It's an opportunity to push yourself. And as a person who works with children, I'm in education and I work with children in different capacities. When you use the word contest or compete or who can do it first or who can do it the best, it allows children to communicate and young people to communicate in a different way. Because writing is all about communication. It's all about, getting things out that you wouldn't necessarily say. It's a form of art. And so it's an art form that reaches many, many people. And this conference has had the ability to reach many, many people. I've come here, my first time coming here, I think there was 300 plus here, and the youth were so inspired and they were so happy and they were ready. They were ready to do whatever they needed to do to, reach their goal of this conference. And it was impressive to see young people, so happy and inspired to do something that otherwise they may have just done in their bedroom or they may have done in secret. But this gave them an opportunity to do it and reach other people and to do exactly what writing and what literature does. It reaches people, it reaches their hearts, it reaches their minds, it reaches their spirit, and it makes people move. And so this conference I've seen make children, young people, parents move in a way that they wouldn't have done otherwise.
Up next, we have a very talented young man who's a poet by the name of Michael Nichols, who's going to perform a piece called Can a Black Man Cry?
Can a black man cry? I'm just a black man. I have dreams, but not like King. Sometimes they just float by. Visions of a brighter future, brighter than my skin. Can a black man live? I live, but not like him. Thinking a couple moves ahead, cause I don't look like them, so I can't act like them. Can a black man breathe? I don't feel I have the space to, King. Tear gas choking me, but oh, those tears that come are a sweet release. Does the pain purify me? Will you rise, lying to me? Can I be angry? That's all I've ever been, but things aren't changing. I try to find outlets. I and my people hate them. Sometimes I feel it's always different when it comes to me. You won't give solutions, so I choose anger and use it as my therapy. Give me death, but trust I won't go quietly. In a weird way, all these deaths inspire me. Can a black man cry? I can. I try. Maybe if I cry, you can see I'm human with emotions. Pray I don't lose them. I don't think revenge will ever soothe them. So I walk this trail of forgotten tears. I weep. I cry for my brothers I never had and those I lost. I cry for my people's persecution and Holocaust. I cry for the pain we carry daily, so we overdose. I cry for the voices unheard, to them's a toast. I cry for the fears that are never silenced, the inmost. I cry. I cry for the hurt that I've caused. It wasn't needed. I cry for the day, presently unseen, when we stand completed.
And now, our final panel from the conference, featuring my beautiful sister Toya Wright and her family, sharing the power of personal healing through creative writing.
So I'm here. We're here with the 2020 Bayou Soul Youth Literary Conference with Toya Johnson and her family, and I'm really excited about this, Toya, because one thing that I've admired about you is the fact that you have turned your life and the pain and the things you went to into a successful writing career. And not only have you written books, but your entire family, your mother, your daughter, your sister, your brothers have all written books. That is very unique, to have an African American family all writing books. That is not something that you see every day. So we wanted to definitely stop by and talk to you all about what led to this phenomenon of everybody wanting to write in one family. That's interesting. So Toya, you have turned your pain and life experience into a successful writing career. What motivated you to start writing about your life in the first place?
Well, what motivated me to get into writing, like, my journal was like my best friend. So I used to journal a lot growing up because I really, it was hard for me to express myself to other people without being judged. So I felt like, coming up, how I came up, and, what people know, like the group of people that knew about my mom and my dad and me living with this person, that person. So when I feel a type of way, like, I didn't have no one to talk to. So my journal was, I always went to my journal. After like years passed, I started to see my growth. Like, okay, you've been through this, you've been through that, you've been through this. Then it got to the point where I got teen pregnancy over, I, had my daughter, try to be the best mother I can be, while still in school, doing different things like that. And then, dealing with marrying someone that was in the public eye, and, going through a public breakup and losing loved ones, and just all the different, obstacles and different things that I've been through. I decided to turn my journal into a book. But never in a million years I thought that my journal would become a New York Times best-selling book.
Right.
I was like, oh, this is amazing. So I just kept writing. It's just a form of expression. And then, I found it to be very therapeutic.
Wow, very interesting. And how has the writing helped you to heal from what you've been through?
I mean, I feel like I said, it's very therapeutic. So me writing and expressing myself, I feel like it helps me feel better. Like, it helps me to get over things. Like, of course it don't happen overnight, but it's a form of releasing. I feel like everyone should write, like, whether it's just journaling. If you don't want to turn your journal into a book, I feel like it's still a good way to express yourself, whether it's writing poems, mini stories, or whatever. Like, it's a good form of expressing yourself. So I encourage everybody, even, my family. That's why everybody basically got into writing books, because I feel like everybody have a story. Make yours a bestseller.
All right.
So
that's good advice, Toya. That's good advice. So, Originated, you grew up watching both your parents, Toya and your dad, Lil Wayne, write about art.
Yeah.
They're using their art in their writing to express their trauma, their pain, their love. And they made a successful career out of each of them individually. How has watching your mom in particular write about her life influenced you in your life to write?
Well, growing up, like she just said, she had a journal and she wrote down things so that she wouldn't get judged, or she how people will come at her and stuff like that. That's like my life. I get judged a lot. So I talked to my mom and I decided to write some things down, like, things that I go through that I can't really vocalize because this person might feel away, or this person might have this on his blog. Like, so it's like with my life being in the public media and the public eye, I feel like writing and journaling is something that keeps me humble, it keeps me sane, and, it's therapeutic, like my mom said.
Great. That's beautiful. All right.
And same with my dad, too, with music. He does the same thing with music.
All right. Great. Miss Anita, you have gone through so much in your life. Growing up with drugs in your life. We know the story to losing your sons to violence that you wrote about in your own book. How well do you know yourself? right? And I have a copy here of your book that you want to show. That we're so proud of you. You
well,
actually
I could have
wrote the book.
lost my sanity. I am glad to be here today. I think the things that I've done and the things that I've been through were not expressing it to talk to people. You know what I'm saying? I had to put it down on paper and stuff like that. I used to always write too. So I'm just glad to be here today to, you know, to know myself, and I ask God for the peace first, you know what I'm saying? Especially when I lost my 2 boys, you know what I'm saying? That really opened it up with me, you know? So I just started expressing myself, and I went to Toya one day and I asked her, I said, help me out, you know what I'm saying? To, you know, to express myself, Toya, to let everything out. And I went, and I came, and I went to this little guy named Joe. You know, he came and visited me one day, and I said, can you sit there and listen to me and tell my stories, you know, what I have to say, and help me, you know? And he told me, yeah, he said, because I'll listen to you, Nia, and I want to write, you know, I want to write your book. I said, well, okay, well. So I started expressing myself to him and crying and telling him all the things that, you know, that I thought that would help out for me, you know what I'm saying, to make me not lose my sanity or nothing, you know. So I started just helping, just writing and talking to him, you know, and then I went to Toya. So that's how I got my, you know, peace, you know, that's how I got my peace of mind to start writing. And it took, you know, I used to always write, like I said, you know what I'm saying? So I write my little thoughts down that you can't go to other people and tell, you know what I'm saying? Because they won't want to listen to you, you know what I'm saying? So I done some things that I didn't want to listen to myself, and you know what I'm saying? So I just was doing things that I wanted to do, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, another good thing, but your daughter actually was writing about your life, and your son Walter wrote about your life. So both your kids are writing about you, about me, and what you had gone through. But you found your own voice and writing your own story?
My own story.
How was
I
that?
found my own story. And then I seen it, you know what I'm saying, to them, I wasn't paying them no attention. I wasn't paying my children no attention at all. You know, I was just out there in that life, you know what I'm saying, because I thought I couldn't go talk to nobody else, you know what I'm saying. So I was just out there in that life just doing me, you know. So I'm glad that they cared enough about me to made me see, you know, made me see that, you know what I'm saying. The things that I was doing out there, you know, wasn't right. I wasn't paying my children no mind, you know, and I love them to death, though, but I wasn't paying them no mind, you know. So I'm just glad to be here today. I say that, you know, and I ask others, you know what I'm saying, that never go through what I have went through, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Because I have went through some things out there by myself. And I have a family, a large family too, but I have went through things with my family and plus, you know, things out there in the street with my drug habits and stuff. Wow. So I'm glad to be here today, though.
Thank God for your blessing.
Thank God.
Yeah, thank God you're a blessing. To so many people. Anisha, you really recently got the bug to write yourself, right? And what inspired you to write? And tell us more about this new book that's coming.
What inspired me to write was definitely, I'm a person that keep a lot in. So writing definitely, as I was writing, I'm just like, this will probably help a lot of people as far as young women. And just knowing that everybody have their stories and everyone heal differently, you know, so that was a way of me healing also. So it definitely helped me in the healing experience.
Yeah, and you have a big sister who's gone before you, who's written books, became New York Times bestseller, started her own publishing house. What advice did she give you that you can give to young women out here today, or just young men, anybody in general who wants to take that leap? Because what I find interesting is that none of y'all, from my knowledge, went to college too for writing, right? Or for nonfiction writing, and y'all have written books that have become bestsellers, and y'all are inspiring people with y'all words. Like, you know, what advice would you give them through that process that you learned from your sister?
Definitely, I learned from my sister that anything is possible. You know, her becoming a New York bestseller was awesome just to know, and knowing that our story, you know what I'm saying, the things we've been through as a family, and just knowing that we could get that out to everyone, and it just inspired me, honestly, because once we lost our brothers, you know, it just showed me that I need to, you know, let my soul glow, and that's kind of my title of my story, is getting straight to the point, letting my soul glow, because I keep a lot in. So she definitely inspired me.
Great. Now, what's the title? That's the title of the book.
I love that.
I like that title.
I love
That's
that.
beautiful.
Thank you.
All right. So, Tori, like she said, y'all lost brothers tragically to violence, and everybody was impacted by that. as well. And you wrote about that. What was it like reliving that through writing? Because a lot of people don't like to relive their painful situations, and that's why sometimes they shy away from writing. But what pushed you through that?
Well, during a time when, you know, we were all going through the loss of our brothers and, you know, my mom, kids, that was a tough time for our family. So it was actually a lot of writing and talking and family time going on, because it's like you dealing with so much hurt and so much pain. You got to get it out some type of way. That was a lot of tears on a paper type of days. You know what I'm saying? Because it made me realize how life is really short, and you know, you have to live, laugh as much as possible, and love, because when people are gone, all you have is the memories. And me writing about that, and, you know, writing about the boys and remembering, you know, it started bringing back all of these amazing memories that I did get to spend with them. But it also made me super sad, because I felt like their lives was taken at a very young age, and it was so much life to live. And, you know, that was tough to even televise, you know, bringing that back up on a TV show, writing about it in my book. But it's a part of my life. And one thing, you know, from day one when I first started doing reality TV, the thing that I always told myself is I want to be my authentic self, and I want to be real. Like, these are the things that I went through. These are real life things, and everything is not all glitz and glam and pretty, you know. It's ups, downs, highs, lows, and unfortunately, you know, this was something that happened in my life that was like devastating. And, you know, it was a lot of other people that lost loved ones and lost brothers and, you know, mothers, and that was able to identify with me. And, you know, I was able to help them heal by sharing my pain and my hurt, and people telling me how strong I was, how your strength got me through it. I read your book, I watched your show, you and your family are so strong. I feel like me sharing that and opening up, if it was only helping one person, I feel like I did my job as, you know, I did my job. You know, if it only helped one person get through it. And it's not easy, it's tough, you know, expressing that and opening up. But I feel like that's a part of my life, and it's a part of my healing process.
Yeah, and I think I told you this, you remind me so much of the late Dr. Maya Angelou, who I told you shared the same last name with you. Her original name was Marguerite Johnson. And for her generation, she wrote about her life experiences and shared with the world what she was going through. And that book and her writing helped so many women and people in general. And I feel like for your generation, you're doing the same thing for a lot of women by sharing what contemporary times what women are going through and young girls are dealing with. So that's really inspiring.
Yeah, I just feel like you have to live your truth, and, you know, don't be afraid to share the bad things that happen in your life, or the hard things to share, because you never know who you're helping in the long run. And it's also good therapy for you to release it and talk about it and heal from it. And, you know, and unfortunately the loss of our brothers is something that we would never totally heal from. But it gets easier as time goes on, and we know that, you know, we have angels that's watching over us. You know, we sitting here talking about everybody writing, and my mom is a recovering drug addict. She wrote a book. She have an inspiring story. She's been through so much. My sister is such an introvert. She doesn't talk, like, it's hard getting stuff out of her, like, and for her to want to write a book and tell her story, that kind of, like, I love that, because I'm gonna be glued to the book like this, like, because she holds so much in. So I know that that's gonna be therapy for her, and I know it's gonna be an amazing book, because she's been through a lot of things as well. And my daughter, like, she go through things on a totally different level from us. You know, she was born into the fame and to the limelight, and that's something that I would never really understand totally, because I had a chance to live my life outside of the public eye before, you know, a little bit of my teenage years before I met her dad, and everything became so public. And that's something that she never got a chance to experience. So no one will, you know, really be able to understand her life totally. So writing about it is a good form of expressing herself as well.
Right, and it's a good segue into the fact that y'all wrote a book together, and y'all do have those different experiences. Like you say, you growing up in New Orleans before, you know, the fame and all that, and understanding that, and your daughter being born into it and having to live in the limelight, and y'all co-wrote a book together called "You Just Don't Get It." So, I mean, mothers and daughters have those conflicts, but even in conflicts, there's love.
Right.
And I think everyone understands that. But, Regina, what was that experience for you to write this book with your mom, dealing with those issues that are very personal and sensitive between the two of you, but y'all put it down once again in a book to help other young women and mothers and daughters who having conflicts that are not famous, but they have conflicts and real issues that they're dealing with. What was it like for the two of you to collaborate?
I feel like, you know, every mother and daughter relationship is kind of like, you know, the daughter thinks she knows everything. The mother thinks she knows everything. She's been through it. She wants to tell you so you don't have to go through it. I'm like, oh, let me jump in the water. I want to see how hot it is. I want to see how cold it is. You know how that is. But I feel like it was a great experience too, because we actually got closer during writing the book, and we like things that we brought up that we didn't talk to when the events were happening. We were like, yeah, so why did you do that? Or why did you drive this way and sneak out? And like we kind of like we bonded through it all too. Yes, it was hard. It was like, I don't feel like writing this part. She had to push me a little because, you know, at the end of the day, my mom, no matter what, she's going to push me. And that's one thing that I respect about my mom, and I love my mom. And she knows this is what I wanted to do. We always said, like, oh my gosh, like, I just know that somebody, like, I know she gets this. Like, I'll go to Uniike's house or one of my friends and ask her, like, do your mom do this? So, like, that book was, like, something where we can talk about what we happened and we can put it out there and see if other people can relate. And they did. Like, we had great feedback to it, and it brought us together as well.
Once again, so writing, like I say, is healing.
Yes.
It's bringing y'all together.
Yes.
It's helping y'all deal with the trauma, the pain as a family. And it's like I said, and so many people could grow and learn from that experience, because so many families are going through so much.
And the dope part about writing, You Just Don't Get It, it was something different for us, but I love the collaboration because it was real. You know what I'm saying? You have mama and daughters where you go through phases where they can't stand each other sometimes. But the love is still there, and it's like, you know, the daughter is growing up and the mom is afraid to kind of let her just go, you know, and do things. And then as a typical teenager, the daughter does things that the mom might not necessarily agree with. And then the mom probably overreacts to a lot of things. And it's like, you know, they bump heads a lot. So it's a real raw book, and it was, you know, it's very relatable.
Yeah, I think a lot of mothers and daughters and parents can relate to that.
Yes.
Yeah, so we're gonna wrap up. Do you think there's a lot going on in the world today? As y'all know, COVID has killed a lot of people in this country. We have hatred and protests and racism. What do you feel? I think because at the time this conference is going to air in a couple of weeks, that's still going to be going on. You know, what would be the message to people out there, particularly young people, who may be dealing with and struggling with through these issues, and maybe thinking about writing, or what advice would you give them in terms of just in general about getting through these times, and maybe turning to writing or a book to read to get through it?
I would say, like, we are going through some tough times right now between racism and, you know, the pandemic, and, you know, it's a whole lot of different things that we are going through. So it's a lot of stress that's on a lot of people. You know, I recommend, highly suggest, like, you know, writing during these times. Like, people are going out protesting, they're being a part of history, like, you know, like, they're standing up. Like, now like, you are creating history too. Like, you're in it. So now is the time to write about it. Like, express how you feel. Express what's going on. Like, later, when your kids get older, they'll be able to read about all of that, because we're dealing with a lot, and you have to have some type of way to express yourself.
Right.
You know, you seeing all of the cops killing, you know, these black kids, like people getting arrested. We're dealing with a lot as black people, period. And I just feel like writing would be great right now. It's a great form of expressing yourself and helping you heal. It's just, you know, we just got to stay prayed up, you know, just do the right things and just continue to stand for what's right. And I love that this generation is like, everybody is really like not playing, like they're really standing up and fighting for what's right, and that's equality, and that's what it's about.
I can't think of a better way to end with equality for all of us. And so I would like to thank all of you for taking this time to stop by and talk about your writing. I know we didn't get to say your son, Walter, wrote a book.
Walter.
I mean, Lions and Legends. You know, he wrote a book. I mean, I'm just going to ask you the last question about that. How do you feel about your son writing a book? And
Well, me and Walter used to always write, you know what I'm saying? He used to write his little raps a lot, you know what I'm saying? That we used to write, and I used to always write. Then when he went to jail, you know what I'm saying, I used to write letters all the time to him. So, you know, he always, you know, had his head on his, you know, he always was a small child that had his head, you know, write down things that he do and things that he can't talk about, you know, write it on paper. So, you know, that was cool.
Walter have a really, really good book too. Like, Walter's a very smart, you know, young man. Like, the whole situation with like all of these young black guys ending up in prison is just lack of stuff in the community. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not enough jobs, like decent jobs for them, so they all, you know, people turn to the streets. It's just, you know, recreation, like all of that. I just pray that things get better, you know, and because it's just sad. Like, I can't wait till my brother come home, because I know he's like, you know, he's super intelligent. Like, I know he can write movies, he can do a lot of big things, and I'm rooting for him, and I know that time is coming.
Again, thank you all for taking time out to stop by the 2020 BSWLC Youth Literary Conference. And that's it.
Thanks for having us.
Of this conference is important, and so it was important to continue it and to make sure that the story continues to be told, and especially with what the events that have taken place this year as it relates to social justice, COVID, all of us working in a virtual environment, and we should not stop because of the changes and the things that we've experienced. But our community is no different than any other. And so what we experience here is experienced around the country. And so to be able to share this virtually becomes important, because other people can relate to it in any community, no matter whether it's north, south, east, or west. The story and the narrative is the same for us all at this point in the United States. And so through this conference, we're able to express challenges that we've had, but also talk about the success we've had in terms of dealing with the pandemic that we had and overcoming some of the social injustices that we've experienced. And so we have talent from around the country that participates annually in this event. And so their expression is coming from perspectives that are broader than just Baton Rouge. And so to be able to share this virtually, I think will only expand the work and also impact communities around the state and the country, for that matter.
So Professor Nero did a really marvelous job of helping our students in 2016 through a flood and police brutality and a lot of social issues that were arising out of that time. And he helped the students to find their voices and to be able to begin to heal as part of that journey. And that story, those stories haven't stopped, right? They still continue. Students are still learning how to find their voice to be able to speak about these difficult social issues. And the conference really just lends itself well to adding on to that. These students are a bit younger than our students were who participated in that very first project, but that doesn't mean that they're not experiencing the same difficulties and challenges and trauma as our older students. So they need a way to be able to express that too, and I think this conference is going to really help them to be able to do that.
For the student affairs side of the house, we're always looking at ways to engage our students. That's what we're all about, is student engagement, making sure we use that vehicle to aid and assist our students so that they persist and that they matriculate, and then ultimately they reach their goals, which is graduation. I think a project like this enables us, or allows us, if you will, an opportunity to see a side of students that we don't normally see, for this opportunity to chronicle some of their challenges and the way that they can express themselves through written work or maybe visual work. It not only introduces us to their creativity, but also some of their most intimate sides of themselves. And when we can know a well-rounded picture of our students, what they're faced with, what are their challenges, what are most important to them, it allows us to assist them in ways that we never thought would be possible. And so for the Division of Student Affairs to know that our students are taking something academically and then channeling that energy in a compelling and a compassionate way, such as these works do, it makes us very proud to know that we can get a very holistic picture of the students that we serve, and it enthuses us in a way that we can better serve them day in and day out.
Well, I mean, in composition classes across the country, different assignments are given that ask students to improve upon their written skills, right? There's all types of instruction that's tied to improving your sentence, your flow, your transitions, the technical stuff. But when you allow a student to write about a personal experience and to evolve in their writing skills and enhancement through self-voice, it does provide a different experience. It does provide for the community and the building of that community. The people that are involved in this type of a project are sharing of themselves. And it's not just, I'm going to become a better writer or I'm going to pass a class. It's, I'm going to evolve. And in some cases, I'm going to heal through an experience. I've been teaching composition for many years, and early on the personal narrative was a favorite assignment. It was the first assignment because it asks students to be vulnerable with you and to trust you as their instructor, because grading is subjective, right? But it's about the experience and about helping them share a voice, and many times for the first time that they've ever done that. I think currently in 2020, there are all types of self-help sort of promotions, right? Go out and spend time quietly in nature or write in a journal. And people say to write because it is a healing act to get your experience out. And then to not just do that, but then to share it wider, share it in film, share it publicly in panels, share it in written in spoken word events. It's that type of activity that's really the courageous stuff, and something I'm really happy that we're involved in.
Our co-curricular activities and programming is designed to create a sense of community, the sense of belonging, not only to the academic classroom, but to the social environment that's created when you attend a university or college. And so for our students to experience the BSWLC conference and to understand that the work they're doing in a writing class or the book that they created could have such an impact that it has drawn the entire Baton Rouge and metropolitan area together to have those real conversations just speaks to the power of the student voice, and that if our students understand how important their voice is, that their voices can be heard and make a difference. I think the fact that the book has caused us to draw the mayor's office into a major partnership with Baton Rouge Community College is just one of the ways that our students can begin to see that being a part of not just the academic experience, but the socio environment of the college is so important and powerful in terms of them now really creating what I think is going to be a movement here in Greater Baton Rouge. And so I've been extremely pleased as a professional and fulfilled to see our students beginning to understand how powerful their voice is, and that being involved has in fact created impact.
That's a wrap for the 7th annual Bayou Soul Youth Literary Conference. Hopefully you've enjoyed yourself. We've certainly enjoyed having you this week. As we close out, I would like to encourage all Louisiana high school students and college students to participate in the Dr. Maya Angelou Essay Contest. You can find more information about the writing prompt at the close of the conference, as well as on our Facebook page and our website at BSWLiteraryConference.com.